Week 14, yes, I said it. Week 14, snoozers or losers. Holy cow.
Right?
Alrighty, guys. We already had the first game of Week 14. That was a great game. I thought it was going to be a horrible game. I didn't even think
they completely switched roles in the second half.
That was nuts.
Pittsburgh looked so pathetic in the first half, and they come out ready to play in the second half, and Minnesota can't get anything going. It's crazy.
It made for an exciting finish, though, which, thank goodness.
And then Pat almost had the game-tying, possibly touchdown.
Yeah.
A shot to go for the 2-point conversion for the tie anyways. So that was exciting.
Yeah, I liked it. Tony, how are you doing tonight?
Good. How are you doing? What's going on?
Not too shabby. I'm feeling pretty good. Pretty good. All right. You guys want to just jump into some snoozers or losers?
Let's do it.
Awesome, guys. We also see you over in the chat. We will, this first 30 minutes, we're going to go through our snoozers and losers, and then we'll do the live chat right after that. So let's get...
Sushi already with the Lockett over there. My God.
I tell you. Alrighty, guys. I'm going to... There we go. Okay. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's start with our QBs. Kyle, I'm going to let you go first. Crap. Really cool. Really cool technology. Why is that not working properly? Of course not. There we go.
Hey.
That was weird. Alrighty. Cool. What you got for me, Kyle? Quarterback.
Well, I'm going to hit you with my super. We're not there yet, Jonathan. Going to hit you with my loser QB, Mr. Joe Burrow. It's really no surprise considering we've been down on all these receivers and Burrow trying to tell you to sell him for the last several weeks with this upcoming schedule. San Fran, terrible matchup. I don't want any part of Joe Burrow this week.
I think that's fair.
Yep.
Tony, what you got?
Yeah, I'm going to start with a positive tonight. And Kyle and I spent some time talking about this guy last night. A lot of questions coming in on him. And that is my quarterback snoozer of the week. And this is a guy that doesn't take you don't have to play fantasy football too long to spot Taysom Hill as a snoozer this week against that Jet defense. I do want to point out that Taysom Hill has never finished outside of the top 12 when he has started a game in fantasy. So this is a team, a defense in the Jets that just made Gardner Minshew look like the second coming of Peyton Manning. They're one of the softest defenses out there against the run, and that is where this guy thrives. I love Taysom Hill this week as like I said, he's never finished outside the top 12, and I don't think he breaks that streak this week against that Jet defense.
I think that's a fair enough assessment.
The second coming of Peyton Manning. I love that.
I love that. Well, we lied. He retired after that one. He was like, "Wow, that was so good. I'm just going to retire." That's what Tony just did.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Kyle, let's go back to you. Who's your snoozer?
My snoozer is Mr. Cam Newton. Obviously, he had a very good first start against Washington. Not so good last against Miami. Or I guess it was the week before last. They were on a bye last week. But Miami, not such a great matchup, got benched. But I think he really bounces back against this horrendous Atlanta defense in a divisional matchup. I think he has a really, really good week this week.
Yeah, I agree. What a great matchup. And I like that they're coming off that bye. Keep them fresh. Yep. All right, Tony, that moves to you and Derek Carr.
Yeah, and I'm a Raiders guy. I've been a Raiders fan my whole life. And I'm putting Derek Carr on my loser list this week. He struggles against Kansas City, especially at Arrowhead, and they've just not allowed him to go off. The defense, that Kansas City defense has been playing, they've been playing tougher as of late. Darren Waller looks like he's going to miss another game. And outside of a 2 QB league, and I own Derek Carr in my 2 QB league. So I'm sitting him this week for Russell Wilson and for Taysom Hill. I see him as a loser.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it should be a good matchup, but on paper.
Kansas City's going to go off.
Yeah. Yep. Alrighty, guys. Time for the wild card. Kyle, we're going to let you go first one on this. My surprise wild card for you guys is Matthew Stafford against Arizona. Kyle, you go first.
Ooh, it's not a great matchup, but I still think he's going to be a snoozer because I see that being a really high-scoring game. They're on Monday Night Football, if I'm not mistaken, so it's going to be lots of points. I think it's going to be very exciting. I still got him in my top 10.
Okay. Tony, how do you feel?
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with Kyle. Obviously, I love Matthew Stafford. I've been talking Van Jefferson for weeks, and they're certainly going to want to throw the football, but this defense is pretty tough in Arizona. When I say loser, I just am expecting him to finish lower than where we might ordinarily anticipate seeing Stafford place. I'm definitely putting him outside my top 10. I'm probably putting him as a mid QB2. So I put him probably closer to that 15 range this week.
Okay. Well, I guess then I have to come in as the tiebreaker. God. Okay. What am I going to say here?
Into, Tony?
Yeah.
What did we get ourselves into, Tony?
So I think that's a bad matchup, right? But Matt Stafford doing Matt Stafford things, and if they have Henderson back, that helps relieve a little bit off of Matt Stafford. I feel like, I'm gonna put him in my snoozer column. Actually, I think that he comes out and surprises us against Arizona, and I think that offense actually performs quite well even in a tough matchup. So I'm putting him in my snoozer column with Kyle.
Rank him for me.
I would say he's at the 10 to 12 range for me.
Okay.
280 yards and 2 touchdowns last time they played Arizona. I don't know what that ranked him that week, but I think he can do about the same this time.
I think he'll just do better than most quarterbacks do against Arizona. Okay, so that wraps up quarterbacks. Let's head to running backs really quick. Also, Jay Gore does agree that Cam is a definite snoozer.
See, I guess I'm right every now and then. Well, I guess he hasn't played yet. We don't know for sure. We could both be wrong.
And Jay
if
Gore
he gets benched again, we could both be wrong.
And Jay Gore's going against Tony on Derek Carr. Betting he proves you wrong.
I hope so. I love me some Derek Carr. I just don't know who's he going to throw the ball to. He can only throw so many passes to Renfro. So without Waller, I think they're going to lean on Jacobs. They're going to try and control that clock and time of possession. I just don't see Carr having a good week, and he has historically struggled against the Chiefs. In his last 6 matchups, he has not scored more than 19 points in fantasy. So there's some stats for you. I don't know if that changes your mind. You think he's going to break that streak this weekend? We'll find out. I don't know how he does it without Waller.
I was going to say, I think if Waller's healthy, he switches columns for me.
Yeah, it changes the whole dynamic.
Against Kansas City, I think that would, even with him struggling in the past, I think with Waller in there, it changes things significantly.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, let's move on to running backs, fellas. Tony, you're going to get to go first. Throw me a running back.
I'm going to start with my snoozer, and that's CEH. I've been all over this guy for the past 4 or 5 weeks, trying to get everyone to buy him before he came back from IR. He has taken over the backfield, and this is a great matchup for him. The Raiders have been very, very, very easy against opposing running backs. The last 5 running backs to go up against that Raider defense have finished in the top 15. And I just see Clyde Edwards-Helaire having a very strong game against the Raiders. Last time they faced the Chiefs, Williams finished as the RB1 in Week 10. So I'm all over CEH this week. I love him as a snoozer.
Yeah, I'm surprised that CEH has taken over completely in that backfield again with as good as Darrell Williams did while he was out, but he's still the guy there. So it's a good matchup. I like it. Kyle, what you got for me?
I'm actually going to hit you with my snoozer first as well. Aaron Jones. He's back looking fully healthy from that injury. Playing against Chicago, you can run on Chicago. I still think A.J. Dillon gets some work in, but I think they'll lean heavily on that run game this week against Chicago, especially if they get an early lead. I love me some Aaron Jones this week.
I mean, that makes logical sense to me. Yeah, because I think they will get up early on Chicago. I don't think Chicago stands a chance.
No.
All righty, Tony. What's your loser here?
Yeah, my loser is Kareem Hunt. I'm still not convinced he's totally healed from that calf injury. It's a very difficult matchup against that Raven defense. Ravens haven't allowed a running back to score a touchdown since week 7. I don't think this is a spot where I want to trust Kareem Hunt, even in a flex position. I'm sitting him on my bench.
Ooh, spicy. People have been waiting for him to come back. It's tough to sit him, but
I know I'm one of them, but I ain't playing him this week.
Yeah, I don't blame you there. Kyle, we need to check our one lineup and make sure he's not in. Anyways, on to you, Kyle. That leaves you James Robinson.
Yep, James Robinson, my loser running back of the week. He crapped the bed last week against the Rams. Not totally healthy from that heel injury. Has Tennessee this week, who is not a great running back matchup. I still don't think he's fully healthy. I don't think he has a good week again.
I'm still surprised they haven't sat him to get healed up.
It seems to be a theme this year.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Gibson went through the same thing. Zeke went through it the last week. It's kind of the ones that do have their running backs don't want to sit them to let them get healthy.
Man, just sit them. But Kyle, the Segway King over here, speaking of Zeke, Tony, I'll let you go first on my wild card.
Oh my goodness. I'm all over Zeke this week. I just had a conversation with Dave from DFS Twins earlier today on Zeke. Zeke practiced fully on Wednesday. I think he's back. Last time he played was last Thursday. So he's going to have a good 10, 11 days of rest before this game against Washington. It looks like Tony Pollard is going to miss. For me, I'm firing up Zeke all over the place. I see him as a definite snoozer.
Kyle?
I agree 100%.
Yep. I knew he's been a little controversial, but
keeps getting his practices in, and
Pollard
every day Pollard's injury just gets worse and worse. The info we're getting out of it. So I'm all about some Zeke.
It's funny because everyone talks, when we talk about the Dallas running backs, we talk about what Pollard would be with an injury to Zeke. Pollard would be an elite RB1. We don't really talk much about what would happen with Zeke with an injury to Pollard.
I think we're about to find out.
We're about to find out. So, you've got to love Zeke this week.
I 100% agree. Alrighty, guys, we are halfway through, so I'm going to blow this up so people get a really good view of it really quick. And now let's get started on the second half here. Let's get started on some wide receivers. Kyle, I'm going to let you go first on wide receivers. What you got for me?
I'm going to hit you with my snoozer first here as well. Scary Terry McLaurin.
I feel like you always pick the wide receivers going against Dallas.
Not always, but when they're Scary Terry caliber, I will for sure. Didn't do great against Las Vegas last week like we would have expected, but I think he really gets back on track against Dallas this week. Very important game in the division, and you can beat Dallas through the air. So I like McLaurin to get back on track.
Yeah, I do too, actually. That sucks being a Cowboys fan to say that, but yep. I feel like I say that a lot. It sucks as a Cowboys fan. All right, Tony, what do you got for me?
Yeah, I'm going to go with a guy who really disappointed me the first week. I played him off of waivers when Calvin Ridley stepped away from football. And that's Russell Gage. This guy has worked his way back into my good graces. I've got him fired up this week. I know this is the Carolina Panthers, but I really do like him a lot in this matchup. First off, Gage caught 11 passes last week for 130 yards against the Buccaneers. He is now the wide receiver 1 in this offense. He is on the field for the majority of the Falcons' offensive snaps. And Carolina has been struggling as of late against wide receivers. The last 2 weeks, they've allowed 100-yard games to opposing wide receivers. They early in their season, they were running a lot of zone, and they've kind of transitioned more into man coverage, and that is where Gage really does thrive, is in that man coverage. So I expect him to have plenty of targets this week. I expect him to continue to post some really solid numbers, and I like him a lot as probably, I would say, a low end or wide receiver 2, maybe high end wide receiver 3 with upside.
Nice. I like it. Kyle, what you got? Give me that loser.
Yep, I'm gonna hit you with my loser, Mr. Darnell Double O Money. Trademark Tony Dominguez.
I like it.
Yeah, Green Bay. He's playing against Green Bay. It's not a great matchup, first of all, but second of all, Justin Fields is back under center. I think that's all we have to say.
That just kills him.
Yeah, I ain't playing nobody with Justin Fields under there.
Though, I mean, he does get a lot of targets, but still, they've got to be good targets to be worthwhile, right? Targets don't score you points. Ugh. So, Tony, that gives us your loser here.
It pains me to say this because this is a guy that I was kind of calling everyone to buy low, and that's Mr. Brandon Cooks. I've got him as a loser for the week. He's been struggling. This whole offense has been struggling, but he has not gotten more than 6 targets in the last 3 games. He's had 45 yards or less in the last 3 games. We now have Davis Mills, who looks like he's going to be stepping in for Tyrod Taylor. Seattle has been really strong against opposing wide receivers. They haven't allowed any wide receiver touchdowns in the past 4 games. I'm not feeling Cooks this week. He's on my bench. I play in the 3 wide receiver league, and I'm playing DK, I'm playing Van Jefferson, and I'm playing Gage over Cooks.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be big time early in the season, and then what have you done for me lately? Nothing. So that's kind of how fantasy football goes. Alrighty, Kyle, let's go to our wild card really quick, and I'm going to let you go first here. My wild card at wide receiver is Amon-Ra St. Brown against Denver. Breakout week last week. What do we think this week?
I mean, yeah, the only receiver I'm starting right now, if I have a choice, is TJ Hawkinson at tight end. I'm not chasing those points from last week. I know me and you were in a really deep league where we have to play him, but a standard 10-12 team league, you're not chasing those points this week, loser.
All right, Tony, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm not. There's no way you can trust this guy. Like Kyle just said, you're not chasing one game. It's a one-game anomaly. What do you have? 10 catches for 86 yards and a touchdown, looking at his stats for last week. I wouldn't expect him to do it again this week. I certainly wouldn't expect him to do it against Denver, in Denver. I'm not trusting him at all, even as a flex. So, loser.
Yep, really agree. And while we're on the wide receivers here, before we move off, R.I.P. Demaryius Thomas. That's very surprising news. That just came out, I guess, and that's sad. He was 33, same age, so sad. Just FYI, he was born on Christmas. In case that was a cool little fact forward. Yeah.
Very sad.
Yeah, very sad. I loved watching Demaryius Thomas play. In fact, I had him on my fantasy team, and I loved it. It was fantastic. Him and Peyton Manning. Him and Tim Tebow, probably. Alrighty, let's move on to tight ends. And Tony, we're going to let you go first. What you got tight end for me?
Yeah, so tight end, I talked about this guy last night with Kyle, went over our matchups, and I really like an Austin Hooper this week. The Cleveland tight end position has been fairly productive this year. We've got Harrison Bryant now, though, who is out with the high ankle sprain. David Njoku landed on the COVID list, so it looks like he is going to miss this week's game. And I really like Hooper a lot against this Baltimore defense, which ranks number 3 against opposing tight ends this season. Hooper is absolutely a very strong streamer and a guy that I would plug into my lineup if you're hurting at the tight end position.
Now, when you say they rank number 3 against tight ends,
they gave up the 3rd most fantasy points to tight ends this season.
There you go. I just wanted to clarify that there. So
sure.
Perfect. All right.
Yeah, it's an easy matchup.
Yeah, love that. Kyle, what you got?
I'm going to hit you with my loser, Mr. Noah Fant against Detroit. And it's not even so much the matchup is just you can't trust this passing offense with Teddy Bridgewater at the helm. He's only getting, it looks like 4 targets each of the last 2 games. You know, no yards with those. You just can't trust this guy. So I'm staying away from Noah Fant.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I have not been on the Noah Fant train at all. So, all right, Tony. Hit us with your loser.
This is a guy, actually, I think Kyle talked about him during our matchups, and that's Mr. Tyler Higbee.
Yep.
Let me start with the matchup. Arizona, kind of to make sure that I'm being clear on the matchup stats for the Cardinals. They allow the 5th fewest points to opposing tight ends. So it is a brutal matchup for tight ends. When they played in week 4, Tyler Higbee, 4 catches for 36 yards. He's only scored, I think, 1 touchdown since week 5. Tyler Higbee is a guy that's on my bench.
Yeah, expected much more from him this season. Has not delivered. I mean, all the passes are going to those wideouts. They have so many good wideouts. So
they're 2 stacked at receiver.
Yeah, that's crazy. Then again, we could say the same about Tampa Bay or something, and Gronk is still cleaning up. It's just
Higbee's no Gronk. Let's be fair.
That is true. All right, Kyle. Hit me with the Kmet.
My snoozer tight end, Cole Kmet. He had a couple of good games the last couple weeks against neutral matchups. I know they're switching to Fields this week, which is why I'm staying away from Mooney. But when Fields was playing before, he was starting to get more consistent targets from him. I think that continues because Green Bay is a very, very good tight end matchup as opposed to Mooney's receiver matchup. So I think he could be a sneaky tight end play. Similar, probably about the same level as a Hooper would be. I mean, he's not going to get you week winning points, but definitely better than people are expecting.
And if I'm not mistaken, rookie quarterbacks tend to pass more to their tight ends. Correct?
It would appear so, yeah.
So I think that follows pretty good trend there, yeah. So
Fields was starting to come on too. I mean, I'm sorry, Kmet was starting to come on with Fields.
With Fields, yeah.
They do have a special connection, so.
Yep.
Yeah, he had 2 or 3 really good games right before Fields got hurt.
Yeah.
And he continued that somewhat with Dalton, but I think we'll see that continue when Fields comes back. Just pick up kind of where it left off. So.
Yep. Alrighty, guys. Let's go for my wild card here, and I'm gonna let Tony go first. And my wild card tight end is Ricky Seals-Jones against Dallas this week.
It's so funny that you bring him up. I have stock all over the place in Logan Thomas, and I actually grabbed Darren Waller and Logan Thomas in my money league, and dropped Logan Thomas today and grabbed Ricky Seals-Jones. I had him earlier in the season too when I had Logan Thomas on IR. I love him a lot in this game. He's a guy I'm also looking at in DFS. Great value this week. Dallas has been very, very soft against opposing tight ends. And here's the thing with Ricky Seals-Jones. Not only do I like him as a snoozer for the week, but this guy is going to give you obviously rest of season value. It looks like he's trending towards playing. I know he's been dealing with a hip injury, but he did put in a limited practice today. Let's kind of see what happens tomorrow through the practice reports and how he trends going into the weekend. But everything I'm reading saying that they're expecting him to be a full go on Sunday. So love him as a snoozer.
All righty, Kyle, what do you think?
I agree with everything he just said. You give the easy ones, the ones that we agree on, you always let Tony go first, so I don't get to say anything. But yes, I agree 100%. If he's healthy, if he plays, which it looks like he's going to, you almost have to play him against Dallas. I like Tony. I had Logan Thomas in a few leagues. I was running Ricky Seals-Jones in several leagues earlier this season. So, very capable fill-in for Logan Thomas. Great matchup. Fire him up.
Alrighty, I like it. It's time for the super snoozers and the super losers. So you know who to start and who not to. Just listen to Kyle.
All I'm going to say is let me do my loser last because it's become so infamous. It has to be like the main event, I think.
Kyle, you act like I don't know how to do this, man. Oh, I know how to set you up for failure. I'm your younger brother. I know how to set you up for failure, so I got this.
Just so we're clear.
Okay, so let's go to the supers here. Let me get a little more space on my board there. All right. So, super snoozers, super losers. You guys could pick any position you wanted. It's your overall super loser and snoozer of the week. Tony, we will start with you.
Yeah, I'm going to go with my super loser for the week.
Yep, sounds good.
And I try to stay away from the tight end position and focus more on running backs and receivers, maybe an occasional quarterback. But this is a guy that kind of many teams have been riding. And so because I pointed out a couple of snoozers this week at the tight end position, Austin Hooper, and didn't know you were going to bring up Ricky Seals-Jones, but it's funny because I was thinking about mentioning him. I feel like I need to kind of throw out a bust out there, and that's Mr. Dalton Schultz. Kind of going hand in hand with what I was saying earlier about Zeke. This just really feels like it's going to be a Zeke game to me. And this full receiving core is now going to be on the field and fully healthy this week with CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, and Michael Gallup. I just don't think we're going to continue to see the same type of target share for Dalton Schultz moving forward, specifically not this week where I see them riding Ezekiel Elliott. So pains me to say that because I do have stock in Dalton Schultz, but I am adding him on my super loser list.
All righty. Kyle, you wanted to go with your super snoozer.
Yep.
So give us your super snoozer.
Super snoozer, Mr. DJ Moore. He's finally been bouncing back a little bit with Cam back. Even when Cam got benched, he still ended up with over 100 yards receiving. Cam starting this week against horrible Atlanta defense. I think Cam and DJ connect quite a bit this week, and I'm loving me some DJ Moore.
Alrighty, yeah, I think Cam's gonna have a great week, and I love that.
Too.
That matchup against Atlanta is fantastic with DJ Moore. All right, Tony, your turn for your super snoozer.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm looking at who's posting stuff about. Is it Jay Gordon that's doing it?
Yeah.
Who's posting stuff about DK? DK missed practice today because of an illness, and DK will be on the field on Sunday. You can bank that.
It's sushi lover because he's all over Lockett.
Okay, sorry, sushi lover. DK, right? This guy is so. I know we have a lot of Lockett lovers here, and it's not that I don't like Lockett this week, but I absolutely love DK. I see him for me personally. this guy is going to get right. We saw them start to get back on track last week, have an awesome matchup this week against Houston. They don't have anything going in that running game. And I think this is going to be a game where we really see DK post some of the numbers that we expect to see from DK. So this is a get-right game for DK and for Russell Wilson. Love him against the Houston Texans.
Ooh, they got to be able to do it against the Houston Texans. Come on, baby. Get it together. All right, Kyle.
Please, Texans. Please against the Texans.
All right, Kyle. Everyone needs to know who to start this week, Kyle. Who's your super loser?
When you're starting this guy this week, James Conner.
Oh.
Yeah. Playing against the Rams, not a great matchup in the first place, but like I was talking about earlier with Stafford, I think this is going to be a bit of a shootout, high-scoring game. They're expecting Chase Edmonds back this week, though, and that's what kills James Conner for me. So I'm not expecting – I mean, you're probably going to start him because all the running backs are hurt, but you're not expecting a whole lot from James Conner this week.
Tony, I'm just going to ask what you think on that real quick.
Well, of course he's going to disagree because it's my super loser pick. Everybody better disagree. Just the same.
No,
things,
I thought Kyle was putting him down. I got confused there for a second. I thought Kyle was putting him down as his super snoozer. And,
no.
And I talked about Conner. This came up last night in our matchups. There was a question on Conner. And yeah, I mean, with Chase Edmonds due back, I don't think Conner is going to continue to be right. Without Edmonds, is a borderline RB1. With Edmonds, he gets knocked back down to a low end RB3, maybe a flex type running back. So against this Ram defense, very strong defense against the run, I totally agree. I would keep an eye on kind of the injury report and see if Chase Edmonds is definitely going to be active for this game. Either way, it's still a tough matchup, but if Chase Edmonds is active, I definitely totally agree as a loser.
If Chase Edmonds is out, that changes everything. But I'm operating under the assumption he'll be back because all indications are he will be back. So
I think we all are, yeah.
Yeah. No. And I did say last night, I did disagree with Tony. He said he'd put him back down RB3 or whatever. I didn't think he would drop back down quite that far because he played so well while Evans was out. But I still, just because of the matchup too, I don't think you'll want to start him this week.
All we can do though really is look at what next week. So you could be right, Albert. All we could do though was look at what the role he had when they were both healthy.
Right. I'm total speculation on my end.
But there isn't anything to kind of that would tell us to expect anything different. So, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, I Albert just said that Chase Edmonds is due out this week, so that would be great. If James Conner finishes as the RB1, that would be so perfect.
It would, wouldn't it? It'd fit right into this whole freaking segment. Everything I've seen says they still expect him this week, so I don't know where he saw that tweet at. But
yeah, Tony, I'm a little surprised that you actually went with Kyle on that one. I figured you would try to stay far away from Kyle on his super loser picks at all times.
We're going down on this ship together this week.
Yeah. No joke. Yeah. So
I already made my gave my opinion on Conner last night when we talked about him, so I can't really deviate from that now.
Sure you can. Ride both sides of that one and then brag about which show you got it right on. That's the style, right?
Do you have a super snoozer wild card or do we not do that?
No, we don't do that.
Okay.
My wild card on that goes to chat. So let me blow this board up for everyone to look at real quick. Take a final look at that. If you want a reminder on this, we will be posting this on our Instagram page tomorrow. You can get these lists. So just FYI, there's your final list there. And let's take some Q&A, fellas.
Sure.
First of all, I got to call you out, Corey. We've been live for 34 minutes, and 16 minutes ago, I got a notice saying you're ever making roster moves in our keeper league. I haven't pulled up to see what that move is yet, but very interesting. But
Okay.
our host is over here cheating.
You wanna know what that move was? I had Derek Carr in my starting lineup. I went and switched him out for Cam Newton. I have Cam Newton in my lineup over Derek Carr now. You guys convinced me. You convinced me together. Your snoozers and losers convinced me I needed to make that change after all.
I love it. So not only are you a part of what we do, but you follow our advice.
You know what? I was too all season on the buys and sells and I was doing the same thing all year, man.
It's been on my mind all dang week, and I've been like, I don't know whether to do this, and then you guys just said it, and I was just like, okay, yep, I guess.
I just always love it when it happens while we're live, because Jeff did that to me that night on Fantasy Night Live. We were talking about who was it, Jamal Agnew, and he went and grabbed him Vegas League right after we were talking about him. So, yeah, I like to call those out. I think it's funny.
Yeah, I was surprised you didn't call it out then because you didn't see what the move was. I guess that makes sense. But I did it right after the quarterback section, and I
thought it was another news notification, so I didn't check it right away. And then I had a little time while we were transitioning there, and I was like, sucker.
By the way, Albert said he saw that on T Drake for Sports on Twitter. So, interesting. Be looking that up. Keeping a close eye on that because it does make a difference whether Edmonds is back or not. So, that'll help out on giving advice. So, really quick, let's get over here. Harry Wolf. Okay, I got a trade. The LM league manager pushed back the deadline. Love that. League manager must need a trade to help out for.
I was going to say he must have needed a trade. Yeah, that's a little suspect.
Let's see. My team is Kyler and Rodgers. Okay, Fournette, James Robinson. I had Madison, Diggs, Deante, Waddle, Kelsey, AJ Dillon.
Okay. Madison still has Diggs, Deante, Waddle, Kelsey, Dillon. Got it.
Okay. The trade is PPR. I give away Kelsey, Waddle, Diggs, and Fournette for Najee, Kittle, and Tyreek.
I don't think I'd do that. You're giving up a lot. You're giving up way too much.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
With Waddle performing the way he is, I know he's not that big name. It's his first year, but he's performing really high caliber.
They're trying to sell high on Kittle is what they're trying to do. And you're way overpaying for Kittle. I love Kittle, but you are way overpaying for Kittle.
And at this point, are we even trusting Tyreek at the value that Tyreek's being valued at? I mean, I almost want Waddle over Tyreek at this point. Jeez.
Or Najee, honestly. Yeah, I'm sitting tight on that, bud.
I don't know. What do you think, Tony?
Let's just go player by player. And I like Kelsey over Kittle. You know, I think I agree with Kyle. It's a sell high spot for Kittle. You don't want to pay peak value for a guy who just went off last week. But rest of the season, I still like Kelsey over Kittle. I like Diggs over Tyreek. I don't think. I mean, Tyreek certainly gives you a huge ceiling, but if it were me, I'd still rather have Diggs, and I'd rather have Fournette over Najee.
Yep.
So I don't think you win. Like I don't think you're getting. I don't think.
And you're throwing in Waddle. You lose at every position.
You're throwing in Waddle. Yeah, I don't think you're gaining anything. If you were getting back like a Jonathan Taylor or something like that, you know, you're getting back an elite guy for giving up those players. That I would get. But here, I think he beat you at every spot. I wouldn't do it.
I agree. And then he even says, or I could do Fournette, Kelsey, and Diggs for Najee, Kittle, DJ Moore. Same thing.
Fournette over Najee, Kelsey over Kittle, and Diggs over DJ Moore. Yeah. I wouldn't do either one.
No. And then he says down here at the bottom, he says, do you think I could rely on Diggs and James Robinson the rest of the season? If you take one of those trades, you're still relying on James Robinson. That doesn't solve that issue at all. I'd give him for Najee probably, but not Fournette. But yeah, you can rely on Diggs. I think you'll be able to rely on James Robinson. He's getting healthier.
I feel like after this week, you want James Robinson. I feel like you just have to make it to the playoffs. It's hard to rely on him this week, but then his schedule is nice for the next 3 weeks. So
Yeah, you're sitting pretty right now, bud.
So, but here's something you can like. Here's what I would consider doing though, Harry, is try to figure out how to. What the guy you want to move is James Robinson. So maybe you can move James Robinson and Waddle for Najee Harris, and then you get the upgrade you want, and then you still have, you still keep Diggs. So maybe trying to do something like that, and I think what Kyle said is true. You're not moving James Robinson, you're moving Fournette. So at the end of the day, you're still going to have to trust James Robinson.
I still think also, like, you have Kyler and Rodgers. I'd be using one of those. I don't know what their difference in schedules are right now, but figure out who has the worst schedule and be trying to use them to upgrade somewhere else maybe.
Yeah,
See, Green Bay has Chicago, Baltimore, Cleveland, Minnesota. And then Arizona has the Rams, Detroit, Indy, and Dallas. They both have pretty good matchups. So
I kind of like that Waddle Robinson for Najee Harris thought right there.
Yeah,
that's what I would be trying to do.
I mean, because that guy is obviously after that extra player, it seems like. So, and that's Waddle, I know, doesn't have the name recognition as like a Hill or Diggs or something like that, but Waddle is fantastic. They're doing fantastic.
He's playing better than they are. I mean,
yeah. So
I don't give a crap about household names. If you're putting points on my fantasy team scoreboard.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Just to kind of go. So for this
just real quick, because I want to piggyback on something Kyle said. Totally agree with what Kyle said. I'd be trying to move Kyler or Rodgers too. Those are two guys. You don't need both of those quarterbacks. It also kind of simplifies your decision each week, because I'm telling you this, I don't know how long you've been playing fantasy, but you always get the wrong guy.
Yep.
It's better just to kind of pick one and ride him for the rest of the season. I personally, I would prefer to have Rodgers, all things being equal. However, if you look at the schedules, there's a greater likelihood that Rodgers is going to be playing in inclement weather as opposed to Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is going to be playing either at home or in a dome at Detroit, at Dallas. And so I probably would keep Kyler Murray in that spot. But I would definitely be looking to try and see if you can move one of those and package up with other players to upgrade James Robinson.
Yeah, I like that.
Yep.
He also wants to know, A.J. Dillon or James Robinson start this week?
Well, what do you think, Kyle?
I'm thinking A.J. Dillon. I really think him and Jones are both going to get a lot of run this week against Chicago. James Robinson, I want to give him one more week to get healthy.
Really on that loser list. You had him on there, so
plus it's not a good matchup either, though.
It's a brutal. Not even that good matchup. It's a brutal matchup against Tennessee.
So
offense is
double whammy there. Yeah.
Urban Meyer is just not using this guy correctly like he did earlier in the season. He's banged up. Dillon's coming off a bye. Chicago's been very, very favorable matchup for opposing running backs. You got to stick with Dillon. And look, I think they're gonna look to run the football. So Dillon isn't going anywhere in this offense.
No.
Alrighty. And then let's see. Before we get down into that, let's go back up to the top here and just make sure.
Yeah, he keeps adding questions before we can get back to the top.
I'm gonna go back up to the top really quick. We've already covered most of these though, but with Deante's 2 drops in the red zone, he could have had 2 tutties. Any worries on him or nah? Not worried about him.
Deante Johnson?
No, not at all.
Yep. Okay. He thinks someone paid him off. Just let's see. This man Cooks comes back unexpectedly, drops 202 TDs. My God.
I know, right? With a shoulder brace on.
Yeah.
Grown-ass man.
Jeez. I mean, heck, he was 15 yards down the field most of the time before he even had someone breathe on him. My gosh. That defense was horrible in that first half.
Yeah, it was bad.
I love Jay Gordon. You see his post at 11:48?
Oh, no, I haven't gotten that far yet. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Tony's over here reading ahead again.
I just the next post.
I had to scroll back up to the top to go through from the beginning here.
You're going to answer the wrong question on us again, Tony, because you're reading ahead.
Yeah, so we are getting
not
back
even a question. It was just
you'll literally never live that down, by the way.
Okay, so if Mitchell doesn't play, Hasty or Jeff Wilson Jr.
If Jeff Wilson's playing, you got to play Jeff. Right now, we don't know for certain if either one of them's playing.
I wouldn't play. I wouldn't play Jeff Wilson. He had to start a couple weeks ago and didn't do much with the opportunity.
But if he's active, you can't start Hasty.
No. But what I'm saying is, if Mitchell doesn't play,
Yeah,
I'm not
start
playing.
either one.
If Mitchell doesn't play and Jeff is starting, I'm not starting Wilson. If Mitchell and Jeff are out, I am starting Hasty.
There you go.
I don't know if Jeff
That's
Wilson's
what I was
playing
trying
this
to
week
say.
or not. Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, like if Wilson's healthy, you can't, or if he's playing, you can't play Hasty. But if he's out, get Hasty. Corey undercut me on Hasty in our league.
And I'm not playing Wilson no matter what. I don't trust Wilson.
Right.
By the way, the post I was talking about was long ago. That was you're down all the way down to 12 o'clock. I'm up at 11:48. Jake Gordon said, "Who do I need to start this week, Kyle?"
Oh, we did that on screen earlier.
Oh yeah, we did that.
I missed it. I went right over my head.
Sorry. Different time zones made that. When you said 11:48, that it shows us 10:48.
Oh, you're thinking 11:48 your time. I'm an hour ahead of you guys. That's right.
I didn't even realize it's not even 11:48 our time yet. So.
That's funny. That's funny.
So,
all right, don't mind me. That's why.
Jonathan Gorman from the future with a question.
It's like, holy crap, Jonathan.
It's like at that point, shouldn't you have already known who my super loser was, Jonathan?
That's funny.
Funny.
Yeah, he said Robinson or Jeff Wilson Jr. I think we just answered. I would go Robinson there
over Jeff.
Yeah. So, let's see. I could do Robinson, Jeff Wilson, Damian Williams, or Tyler Boyd.
At flex, you got to go Robinson because, yuck on the rest of it.
Yeah, no doubt. Not even a consideration there.
I think I just saw Tony throw up in his mouth a little bit, actually.
There's even more. There's even more players available here. Hold on. I think he's going through his who's on waivers here.
Still Robinson.
So Fant, Sutton, or Alex Collins over Robinson.
Still Robinson.
Yep. Robinson over all of those.
I can just reading off waivers at this point.
Okay, Robinson or Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Robinson.
I wish I would have started Pat Freiermuth over James Robinson after he finished with a touchdown tonight, but that is what it is. It's fine. Cool. So let's see. Okay, hold on.
Just keep we said this already, but just keep an eye on the injury report because I know he didn't practice again today. So this
Who's
is
that?
all assuming.
James Robinson?
Yeah.
Yep. That makes me a little nervous there. Okay, here we go from Steven. Chubb, Waddle, and Renfro for Mitchell, Deante, and Moore. Chubb, Waddle, and Renfro.
Oh. I think I'd be wanting to get the Mitchell, Deante, Moore side.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
100%.
Yeah,
I mean,
95%.
I know Mitchell's iffy for this week, but long term, I mean, that's the move.
And if you can get through this week, 100%.
Yeah.
Especially with Kareem Hunt back.
Yeah, I like Mitchell more than Chubb, and I like Deante and Waddle.
No way, Deante.
I love Waddle. I have a personal preference for Waddles, but Deante is the better choice there. And yeah, Moore and Renfro. Yeah, I like the Mitchell, Deante, Moore side as well. So I think that's consensus.
Nice. Deante Johnson isn't even close. Deante Johnson is a rest of season. He's a top 8 receiver. Oh,
it's incredible.
So Deante Johnson
targets in that schedule, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. Just if DK doesn't play, this has to boost Lockett this week. Who else is Russ going to throw the ball at?
The tight end.
Yep. Gerald Everett.
Gerald Everett all day.
And he's another guy. Everett is another Siki guy if DK misses. He's another streamer at the tight end position you can consider.
Adrian Peterson, baby. Line him up out at wideout. Give it to him all day.
Extra super loser, Lockett.
Ouch. Put him in your starting lineup then.
I'm not even talking about fantasy points.
Is Waller going to play? I
Doesn't
don't
look
think
like it.
I don't think so.
I think he comes back next week.
Yeah, I agree. I'm decently locked in. I might take the trade. Yeah, if you're locked into the playoffs, which is what he's talking about, then I don't hate that at all.
This is the Elijah Mitchell trade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he'd be giving up Chubb. I'll pull that up really quick. Again, that's Chubb, Waddle, and Renfro for Mitchell, Deante, and more. That actually won't even go through this week, right? With Deante just playing.
Yeah.
So you can get it and actually keep Chubb this week and then switch it to Mitchell next week is essentially how that would go. I guess it depends on
That's a good point.
Where you're at. So you can hit that. You can still use Chubb this week and then have Mitchell next week. That might actually play to your advantage.
That's a good point.
So let's see. Lockett or Renfro since Waller is out? I'll go Renfro. Also, kind of depends on your situation. Do you need that big boom? Like, are you probably going to lose your matchup unless you get that big boom from Lockett? Because if that's the case, then I say play Lockett. If you're kind of needing to play it safe and just get that consistency, that higher floor, then I'm going Renfro.
I'm going Lockett. These bastards going to come up with situations until they make me say Lockett. I think this is one where I got to go Lockett. For all the reasons Tony doesn't like Carr this week, I'd rather have Lockett over Renfro.
It's all a conspiracy to get you to say Lockett. Is that
it? It is. They're just going to go, okay, Lockett or this guy. Lockett or this guy.
Sushi went and changed his name to Steven on here so that he could throw different scenarios at you. And
Sushi and Tao.
Now trying to get you to say
either
Lockett.
The same guy or they're related. I don't know. I'm just saying. Everybody's on Lockett all the time. They finally come up with a situation where I pick Lockett.
Tony, what do you think in that situation?
I probably want to see the status of DK. I think if DK does miss the game, then I'm going to play Lockett. But if DK plays like I'm expecting him to play, I just think this is a DK game. I think it's setting itself up to be a DK game. You know, we saw him get a lot more involved last week. I do like Renfro a lot though, so it is close. But I would lean Lockett without DK, Renfro if DK plays.
A lot of moving pieces there.
I'm on Lockett.
It's not just one moving piece. It's whether or not DK plays.
One moving piece.
I'm on Lockett regardless. I'll keep it simple.
All right. Keep it simple, stupid. Najee Harris and Jefferson. Let's go. Yeah, Harris redeemed himself in that second half big time.
Jefferson's my guy.
Yeah. Zeke or Aaron Jones rest of season?
Zeke. His schedule's nice.
I mean, I'm Zeke.
Yeah, same. Yeah, baby. All right. Let's see. Okay, so Jorge, you came in a little bit late, so I'll excuse you for this.
We'll allow it this time.
We'll allow it. Again. Get here on time next time. You were tardy, Jorge. No.
Or as Maddie Daddy would say, George.
Yeah. He texted out that last night, Jorge. He called you George.
He's calling you George all night.
And I texted Colin. I said George with a smile, laughing face. It was too funny. I was like, no way he did that. So funny. But anyways, we don't like him.
No, unstartable.
I wouldn't say unstartable. But hang on.
Crap on this man's porch earlier. You can't now say that you like him.
I'm not saying I like him. I'm not saying he's unstartable. If you're stuck at running back and you need somebody to play and you don't have anybody else to grab and nobody's on waivers and no one's on your bench this guy is going to probably touch the ball 15 to 20 times. The problem
if you have no other options, he's startable. That makes sense.
The problem is he was not very efficient the last time he got the start. And the last time he got the start was only a few weeks ago, week 11 at Jacksonville. He carried the rock 19 times for 50 yards. And that makes him borderline unstartable. But it is a nice matchup. If he starts and Mitchell is out, he is going to get plenty of touches. So it's hard to find that. And there's a chance he can plunge into the end zone. So but I think, I'm not looking for ways to get him into my lineup.
I'm looking for an excuse to put him in my lineup for sure. Yeah, no, I'm kidding. Just gonna say whatever the opposite of what you say, Tony, so I can just be wrong all the time, essentially.
Right. What you should do is we should do what some of these guys do. We should every single week make Tyler Lockett your super snoozer, and then 3 times a year you'll be right.
There you go.
I love it.
Hey, by the way, I sent Kyle a text today. We had some activity last week in the chat, all on Evans, Mike Evans, that this was going to be a blow up week for Mike Evans. He was like a super snoozer times 100. He finished last week as the wide receiver 18. So
yeah, we even had some of those guys follow up with that, still saying they had a good week. Wide receiver 18.
Well, I mean, we didn't have a bad week, but it wasn't what they were, this particular individual was predicting.
Yeah, that's true. Didn't really go off per se. But where did Lockett finish last week? A little higher than that for sure, right?
Higher than that.
I don't know where he was at, but
I don't either, but it was higher than that.
Tony's going to find it for us.
I will find it for you in 2 minutes.
Yep. Oh, you're going to make me wait 2 minutes for that? You'll have it quicker than that. I
absolutely will.
You're on the clock.
Everyone's relying on you, Tony.
I know you're putting me under pressure, so that's hard for me to do to work with all this pressure on me.
And with you streaming now, your computer's gonna move slower and
under pressure. Sorry. I guess all of our viewers are too young for that song. Probably Corey probably don't even know what I'm talking about.
I know that song. Jackass. Man, maybe it is going to take 2 minutes.
I told you, put me under too much pressure.
Hell, I could have found it this fast.
Well, tell me what it is. See if you can find it.
Okay. Let me get this window open. Okay. All right, guys, we're on the hunt. Whoever finds it first wins in the chat.
Well, I started last, so I'm going to lose here.
I was talking about the chat. Looking at week 13. PPR scoring, of course. At wide receiver, I'm walking you through my selections here because I know you want to hear it. Is
12. I started last and I got it first.
I have him at 11.
For some reason I can't.
Does yours do partial points?
It has him with 19.8 points.
See, I'm showing. Let's see, where'd he go? Yeah, 19.8. He's at 12.
Interesting. Who's right above him and right below him?
I have him at 11. Fantasy Pros has him as 11 for PPR.
Hold on.
Right above him was Deante Harris, and right below him was Hunter Renfrow at 12.
You're right. He was 11. My deal said week 13 to 14, so it was counting this week's stats too, which is dumb. I don't know why it did that.
You're on fantasydata.com, right?
Yeah, I had 13 to 14 instead of 13 to 13, which is stupid that it did that. So there you go. You're right. It was 11. I missed it by 1.
All right.
But it was higher than Mike Evans.
That's true. That's very true. All right. Let's Jedi mind tricks. Whoa. All right. Hey guys, I have a question. Someone dropped Gronk, so I swapped Freiermuth for him. but forgot to bench him while the trade is pending. Is that going to mess me up?
Shouldn't. Firemouth should be locked.
Hold on.
You'll have Firemouth now until. It sounds like he traded him instead of picking him up since it's pending.
Someone dropped Gronk.
Oh, it was a waiver claim. Gotcha. Well, Firemouth's locked in now, so.
So yeah, you're not
gonna be able to claim him if you're trying to drop Fire. You'll have to drop somebody else to claim him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's.
Sushi Lover's drunk over here too. By the way.
Let's see. Lockett is now the king of consistency. His last 3 games, he has over 10 points. Hey, for Lockett, that's a win.
That's a career first to put together that many games in a row with 10 points. I'm just going to say that.
For Lockett, yeah, it might actually be. That's sad, but maybe true.
I mean, that's usually his season high, and to get that many in a row is incredible. He's setting a career record this year with games over 10 points at what, 5?
Steven Tao wants to know, how was this trade? I gave Zeke, Godwin, and Hawkinson for Chubb, Hopkins, and Waller. I like Hopkins more, and I like Waller more, but I think I like Zeke over Chubb.
Are you in the playoffs, Steven? Did Steven say he made the playoffs?
I think he said lock for playoffs, I think.
Yeah. He said it's a lock.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. Like, I love Waller, but
I wouldn't have done that. I'm not a big Chubb guy.
I would rather have the Zeke side for sure.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have the Zeke side. And just a general rule is to try and avoid trading for injured players.
Yeah, that's the only part that hurts.
Yeah, I just try to avoid doing that, especially with something like this. We have every reason to believe Waller is going to be back and going to be back probably next week, but there isn't any certainty of that. So,
but now if you can turn Chubb and all of that into that Mitchell side, then you rebound very nicely. Then you rebound very nicely.
I wouldn't have given Zeke.
Okay, so just looking back on some Tyler Lockett past seasons, guys. Sorry. Lockett has had some good runs of over 10 points. Just throwing that out there. He's had, on 2 occasions, he's done it for 3 games in a row. And let me tell you, he always starts out the first few games of a season very strong. But then back in 2019, he had one string of 5 games in a row that were over 10 points, and one of those was for 42.2 points. He had a game in 2020 that was worth 60 points. So,
half a season total.
Here's in 2018, he has a string of 7 games over 10 points. Then he skips one and goes for 5 in a row. So the inconsistency, I guess, is actually later in his career here. So he's been pretty solid.
I mean, I already picked Lockett over Renfro earlier. We spend way too much time on this channel talking about Lockett.
He's interesting. He's interesting. Okay, so Jorge says, I picked Wilson up so nobody could play him.
Yeah, I do crap like that all the time.
Yeah, I've been doing that all week to people with different players. Is Aaron Jones back to being the RB1 in Green Bay? I have Dillon on bench, need one flex, Van Jefferson, Bateman, Dillon, or OBJ. Yeah, Aaron Jones is definitely RB1.
Yeah, Aaron Jones is the RB1. So you need a flex. I like Dillon, but I like Van Jefferson, I think, the most out of all those.
What do you think, Tony? Who's your flex play there?
I like Van Jefferson an awful lot. I'm probably going to agree with Kyle on that one.
Yep, same. Same.
I would, by the way, I wouldn't trust Bateman.
No.
I would cross Bateman off your list.
Yep. We let down Jedi. Damn. Okay, thanks, guys. We didn't give him that confirmation he needed.
You should have benched Freiermuth if that's what you were doing.
Yep. Zeke or Robinson rest of season.
Zeke.
We talked about that one earlier, Zeke.
And then let's see. So, guys, now that Madison was benched, I put Mike Evans on my flex with James Conner. I have Knox also. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
So Mike Evans over James Conner in the flex.
Yeah.
I
would do that.
I don't hate that.
Yeah.
Henderson or CEH? I'm guessing for this week.
CEH this week and probably season, honestly.
Yeah.
Let's see how that Rams backfield shakes out too between Henderson and
Okay, so we'll stick for just this week.
And Michelle. No, I'm just saying I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying let's kind of see what happens because you could change your opinion next week depending on what happens this week.
Oh yeah, that can always happen. Steven said the plan was to turn it since no one wants Zeke due to knee injury consistency. So he was looking to get Chubb to flip Chubb, which it sounds like he's going to be able to do in another deal that he's working on. So, Jorge Lockett is a big no. Had him last year, never again.
Yeah. Feel that in my bones, Jorge.
Corey gets it always, but 60 points was
one
the
game.
Middle of last season. So
it was one game.
What have you done for me lately?
Total probably. So
what have you done for me lately? Be too big of a boom bust type player, and that worries me. Cameron Jordan is out this week. Saints defense for Panthers or keep them? Saints defense or Panthers defense?
I'm still going Saints. They're still playing the Jets.
Yeah, I don't think one player makes
one player is not going to change that matchup.
Saints could be the number one defense this week.
Yeah.
Sushi agrees. We do spend too much time on Money Man Lockett. It's your fault, Sushi. Gosh.
Yeah, you're the one that keeps bringing them up. My goodness.
He said, no, I have James Conner and Mike Evans as my 2 flex and knock on my bench. Sorry, I didn't say it correct, guys. Oh, okay.
Oh, so you got 2 flexes and you got Conner.
Okay.
That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. No, don't change. I would keep that.
Agreed.
Where will Russell Wilson play next season? In the city where his new team resides. That's where
he'll play in the NFL.
He'll play, whoever trades for him, that's where he'll play.
I've read a lot that there was a lot of talk, and Jay Glazer talked about this. There's a lot of talk in the offseason, and there's a lot of talk now, kind of behind the scenes, that he's going to wind up in Philadelphia.
Well, there was a report yesterday came out. It was Philly, the Giants, New Orleans, and Denver were the 4. And, of course, he came out today and denied it all, but that was the report yesterday.
I have a feeling, just based on what Glazer has been saying, he's been talking about this for the past, since the end of last season, about him going to Philly, that maybe Russell Wilson camped that to make it seem like there were other teams that were kind of equally interested. But Philly has the firepower to go out and get him. So my money, based on Jay Glazer, is on Philadelphia.
Ugh.
I think they'll be a little more stubborn on Hurts. I don't think they'll be ready to give up on Hurts just yet, but I could be wrong.
No,
I think he makes the most sense in Denver.
I'm using Jay Glazer as my source.
Yeah.
But if Denver's going after Aaron Rodgers, then
if Aaron Rodgers if he retires instead of playing somewhere else, Denver makes the most sense. They're the most QB needy of those 4 that he'd accept.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Demaryius Thomas. I saw that. You guys saw that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we popped it up on the screen earlier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Not this one, but another one.
Curly Wolf. Yeah, it's sad, man. Does anyone know how yet? Or is it just...
No, I haven't seen any details.
Sad. Jorge says, "Oh wow, what is he gonna do in Phil? I mean, he's gonna have a great tight end and
Got some good
wide
weapons.
receivers,
Goddard,
yeah.
Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins, Jalen Reagor. I mean, he's got some good targets there in Philly.
DK's going to go with him.
I doubt that.
I know. Just kidding.
I have a hard time believing that.
I never like when talent ends up in Philadelphia. I'm not a
either,
fan of
because
it.
then they're dead to me. It's like they don't even exist anymore.
Yeah, I like Russell Wilson, and for him to end up in Philadelphia, it'd be big sad.
Very sad. Very sad.
Which three y'all gonna roll this week? Half PPR: Higgins, Cooper, Gage, and Moore.
More
Well,
Gage Cooper.
I'm putting Moore at the top.
Yeah.
Moore's a no-brainer there. I'm eliminating Higgins.
And then I'm just trying to think through it. And then so who do you put after Moore? See, after Moore, I would put Cooper.
Yeah.
And Gage probably for me.
Great matchup for those Dallas receivers. And then Gage, yeah, I would probably agree with that.
Right.
Especially with Burrow banged up and Higgins is already banged up. So go with the three healthy guys who have been getting, especially Moore and Gage. So
I'm surprised that Burrow was able to finish that game last week. He couldn't hardly grip that ball on the sideline. That was painful just to watch.
Yeah, it's a tough matchup for them this week.
Yeah,
big Mixon day this week.
Yeah. Jorge, if he goes to Denver or Saints, they will be legit. Other than that, it's better where he is. I mean, Philadelphia is a lateral move for Russell Wilson.
I don't think he's going to stay in Seattle.
No, but he should look for Denver and New Orleans probably if he's smart. Okay. Pick one kicker for playoffs. Nick Folk, Zerline, Carlson.
Give me Folk. He's been the number one all season. I don't see a reason for that to change.
What do you think?
I kind of like myself some Zerline. He's been very consistent all season. I definitely don't. Probably put Carlson near the bottom. Of that, at least of this list. So it goes between Folk and Zerline. You don't need Folk this week.
Yeah, that's the only downside is Folk on a bye this week.
Yeah, I like Zerline.
Now grab Zerline.
I like his schedule, Zerline's schedule better, and I don't like that Folk will play in the weather conditions that he'll probably have to play in.
Well, he's at Indy, then they're home for Buffalo, home for Jacksonville, so weather conditions are going to be an issue, right? So I agree with that.
Yeah. So, I mean, and yes, he's probably he's kicked in it before, but it's still something you have to worry about, especially with the way kicking has gone this year. Holy cow!
Yeah, right.
Yeah, for real.
Sushi Lover, I'm playing against Hill, Kelsey, and Moore. That sucks. Whoever was playing against that team last week got really lucky with Hill and Kelsey both crap in the bed last week. So that team probably lost last week. And I'm guessing that doesn't happen again this week.
This is a Kansas City week.
I think so.
You're doomed.
I talked about this last night in the matchups. The defenses that Kansas City has that they've been struggling against is what's called the soft or the shell cover 2. And that is the defense, of course, that the Raiders do not play. They play cover 3. So Mahomes has typically feasted on this Raiders defense, and I don't think this week's going to be any different.
Nope. You're in for a long week, my guy.
Yeah. This is a get-right game for Mahomes and for that passing offense.
Yep, and it's going to be ugly. I just have a feeling.
Could be.
Alrighty, guys, we are at 1 hour and 15 minutes. No more questions coming in. I say we wrap this up. It's been a good time.
Slight pause for the last minute. 3 or 4 that'll come in maybe.
Right. Hit like on this video if you haven't already. Just let us know that you like it, or hit dislike. whatever your actual feedback is. Just hit that button. If you haven't subscribed to us, then hit the subscribe button as well. That's going to do it for us tonight. And tomorrow night is Crazy's Corner. We'll be going on at 7 o'clock Central Time. We'll be Crazy's Corner. Saturday is Fantasy Night Live. And Sunday, starting early morning, we got all the pregame.
Sunday's going to be a little weird this week because we got DFS Twins is moving back to the normal time of 9 Central, 10 Eastern. Tony actually won't be there, but we'll have a stand-in. Zach with Ocean State Fantasy Football will be in there with David to do DFS Twins. And then me and Corey, for the first time, will not be on the pregame and doing the all-day game calls this week because of a family function. It's that time of year. Holidays, family functions. We're doing the best we can for y'all, though. So shot callers will be running that, along with Craze and Ocean State, who y'all are used to seeing on there with us. So a little bit weird this Sunday, but the only thing that's really in the air is that first slate of games, whether they decide to stay on and do that, call those games or not. I'm assuming they won't, but maybe. Maybe they'll feel nice. But anyways.
They just like hanging out with each other. We'll see.
Yep.
But all right, guys, that's going to do it for us. It's been a good time. Tony, thanks for joining us. Kyle, thanks for joining us.
Fellas. Appreciate you.
And hold on, Steven, one more thing before you go. What?
Send it to our DMs. Send a picture of it to my DMs.
Hit us up on Instagram and send it to us, and we'll get that going so you can send us some screenshots of it.
Yeah,
we love doing that. Yep. Awesome, guys. We'll talk to you later. Have a good night.
Thanks, everyone.